What's going on, guys? Jeffery here from CZeroMedia. In today's episode, I'm finally going to show you guys episode number 3 of my visit to JRP Performance. I do want to apologize for the epic delay. I've been traveling a lot. I just came back from Nicaragua and I've been working on a side hustle, should I say. And that's been taking up a lot of my time. So as you have noticed, I've been kind of slacking on YouTube, but I'm still here. I'm gonna keep making content where I can, when I can, and hope you enjoy today's footage. So that's a lot of engine noise right there. I think we talked for like 30 minutes or so.
I can go on and on, man.
Yeah. But now we're gonna talk about transmission a little bit.
Yeah, so this is our customer Sergio's car. He had a rear main leak, and he's one of those guys that is like, while we're in there, let's just do this, you know?
You might as well.
Yeah, so I actually built his motor last year. It's a 2.2 liter big bore. 4B11 sleeve, and he wanted to do something with the transmission while I was out, and so we decided to do, obviously, you know, the synchros and the synchro rings and the sliders and all that are going to get replaced, and the 3/4 shift fork, notorious on the 10s to basically wear out, and some work to the actual center diff, which I send back to Jack's transmission to do, and actually the gear set and the gears themselves are going to get WPC treated. So they can basically, it's better for lubrication, and it reduces friction a lot. And if you reduce friction on the moving part, I mean, it's better, less wear, and the gear becomes stronger because the metal gets relaxed, and basically, you know how there's like stress risers on metal, basically like sharp edges and stuff. Those edges basically get more relaxed, and the metal itself is less prone to cracking. So that's what it's getting, and you know the case gets like that nice aluminum looking paint on it and stuff, but yeah, it's basically a basic rebuild with the WPC treatment. And, you know, we do the same thing for the 8s and 9s.
So what would you, like, how much horsepower or torque, should I say, is this rated?
I don't know if I can rate it because it's essentially...
It's more of a recondition.
Yeah, it's essentially just a recondition. What we do is we can actually tighten up the clearances, like the preload of the transmission. What we can do is basically there's shims, right, on the input and the output shaft. So what we can do is we can put thicker shims and basically get that preload as close to zero as possible. That's what you get actually from like you know, when you send it out to the, you know, bigger companies, you know, stage 3, you know, stage 2.5, all those stuff. All they're essentially doing, obviously they do their gear treatments, you know, I'm not trying to discredit that. What they do works, but how it actually becomes a race transmission, in my opinion, is when they tighten up the preload so much, meaning like there's not like too much clearance between the case and the shaft, right? What happens is, like, let's say you started early in the morning and you try to drive the car around, it's going to be super notchy. It's going to be very hard to shift. But as soon as the case expands, the aluminum case expands, it's gonna, you know, basically give it a little more clearance, and then you can shift it better. Now, when we rebuild these, usually we work with the preloads that the transmission had, right? We just check it and we make sure it falls within the spec, and it's usually a little loose, so you can shift fine, and it doesn't feel notchy, you know, because people don't want a notchy gearbox. But when you're trying to make a lot of power, it's good to preload it to zero, meaning it has zero clearance until it actually warms up. So in my opinion, that's what helps the most in wear and actually being able to handle the abuse, because it's not really, the whole thing's not moving around. So that's how you there's a minute amount of play.
How much would you say expansion do you see in warmed up aluminum housing?
I would say probably 3-4 thousandths. At least. At least.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because
same
if you have
same as Evo 8s and 9s.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. Just aluminum housing. That's just a number. That's just a guess, but I would say 3 or 4 thousandths, maybe a little more, but definitely not less than that. When you hear about bearing preload, it's you're having negative clearance. So you don't have clearance anymore. You have preload, meaning the bearing is preloaded. Yeah, it's already pressurized. Exactly. So once you drive it, there you go. That's what I should.
And this also kind of ties up to one video I did where I explained how to launch an Evo or any all-wheel drive car for that matter. You want to get the preload going so you don't have that bashing, the gears slapping into each other.
Another thing we do offer is we can do face-plated gears. Liberty offers that. So basically what we do is we send the gears out, and they basically cut the clutching teeth on the gear. I wish I had some that I could show you. Let me see if I have. All right, so these are the clutching teeth on a gear, right? Out of a Evo 8-9 trans. So basically, the synchro sits here, and then whenever the shift fork basically like moves the slider on here, the synchro pushes on the actual synchro surface, and then like slows down the gear, and then the actual slider can slide on these, right? That's a synchro transmission, that's the operation. So what we can do is we can actually cut these off and then weld dogs on it, or better known as face plates, because it's not a dog box, it's a face plated gearbox. It's different from a dog box, and that's I would say that's kind of like the poor man's dog box, because it costs like, I think it's like $1,500 for the gears, and then all you're doing is assembling everything, and you have no synchros anymore, so you're just refreshing up the bearings and you're getting rid of the synchros. And I had that in my car and I hated it because my car wasn't a full-on race car, so it's a trade-off.
How much time am I gonna spend into this transmission in particular? How many hours does it usually take for?
I want to say about 4 hours, maybe.
Okay.
4.5 hours. Cleaning the case. Maybe 5 hours with the painting the case and prepping it and all that. Right. Usually, like I'm doing one part and Jeffrey's doing the other part to speed up the process. Right. But the gears themselves aren't. I mean, it's not really difficult. You just need an understanding of the gearbox and a good press. I'm gonna get a bigger press, because we've been doing a lot of GTR transmissions. I'll tell you, the GTR basically has a divider in the center. There's a plate, and there's gears on both sides, right? So you got to press it off, and that thing does not fit in that. So every time we gotta like roll everything to the neighbor's thing. And I want to buy one. We don't mind spending the money. I just gotta find the right one. I used to do a lot of Mercedes-Benz stuff. I don't know if you're aware, but the M156, M157. The V8s, the twin turbo V8s and stuff. So those are super complicated. So when I moved on to the GTR stuff, it really wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, compared to those cars.
And it's almost the same concept. Like, you want to do turbos, the whole thing has to come out. But you get to appreciate these cars, because these are very simple. Once you master those, these are very simple.
4 cylinders, you can pick up the engine.
They're so easy. It takes us like 2 hours to pull the whole drivetrain out. Especially access with a lift, it's much easier. Everything just drops
jealous.
down.
I want one.
Buy one, man.
Well, it's gonna hit the garage roof and then more. All right, we are now to the outside, checking out some of the customer cars and some of the projects they're working on.
We got an 09 GTR here with some transmission issues.
All right, typical.
Yes, sir. We're trying to diagnose it.
First transmission job on this car?
This one actually has a fully built transmission already.
You're redoing a fully built transmission?
We haven't built the transmission, but we already had a built transmission.
Okay.
But the 09s have a lot of issues. Well, they have like weaker stuff in the transmission. They're the CBA style transmissions, not the DBAs. The DBAs are 2012 and older. You have better like sliders, synchros, and all that stuff. There's also the piston clips, which I'm sure you've heard of. There's because the valve body basically has shift pistons on there, and they basically move the forks, because you're not manually doing it, the computer's doing it, right? So the piston basically, maybe I can send a picture, you can put it in there or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So basically it fills up pressure on either side to move the fork, and the forks are aluminum. The shift piston is steel, so they wear out unevenly, and then it starts like rotating in there, and then it'll lock you out of either the even gears or the odd gears and all kinds of shit. And sometimes it'll want to like lock both gears at the same time, and you know how crazy that can get.
I heard.
Usually the computer saves it. The TCM will save it, so it'll just go into limp home and it'll go into like even or odd gears before even running into that. But I mean, it can get very expensive. So that's the transmission car we're diagnosing. That's my car that I told you about. It's a red GSR 04. That's not really exciting right now because it really doesn't have a powertrain in it. This is our buddy Sergio's car. This one has the 2.2 liter that we built. That's our buddy Chris Harikian's car. That's getting a Savage package too. Same thing, sleeved motor.
Nice.
Turbo Tough pistons. The Krillo Super Pro H beams. That's the one I was gonna show you. So I'll go back and I'll show you that stuff too. That was a shell that I owned. I sold it. That one is our, if you want to come here, that's our friend Parker's car. That's getting this is getting a 2.1 liter, so it's getting a D-stroked 4G64 with a 88 Evo crank,
Oh wow.
He's trying to make about 800. He has a 64, 66 sheepy kit that we're installing for him. We're basically doing the whole car. There's like everything's out, a wiring harness and everything. So
yeah,
we got to do all that. You know, custom fuel lines and stuff for it. I might put him on a link as well because he wants a good ECU aftermarket standalone.
Right.
That is our friend Mike's car. That's the one that threw a rod that I was showing you.
Yeah.
This is actually, from my knowledge, one of the only Evo 10s in California that has a CyVex standalone ECU on it.
Huh.
This is up until Mote came out with the plug and play, which I don't even know if it's available for the public, but the 4B11s, the CyVex was the only standalone you could run, and it's like almost $4,000. So it's, you know,
wow.
so it's a big investment.
Wow.
But you know, if you want to get the benefits of a standalone, you know, rolling anti-lag, all the safety features, you know, this guy had a lot of money in the car.
Right.
And unfortunately, the oil pressure sensor wasn't wired into the CyVex, so it didn't do its job. So he still lost the motor.
You got 3 guys working here?
Or yeah, it's me and Jeffrey, and then we have our friend Jacob.
Right.
So sometimes it helps. So, you know,
you
we might get a guy
cars,
pretty soon. Yeah.
We
pump them out.
Yeah.
You know, we pump them out. So until I get to a point that I can't pump the cars out, you know, like I said, it's the...
You don't want the cars just sitting here for
yeah,
forever. Yeah.
At that point, the only time a car sits here, and any customer that watches this video is going to verify this, is if the machine shop's lagging on something. You know, everything
you're
else,
waiting on parts or something.
In fact, if I'm doing a build like Chris's build, before he even dropped off the car, I got the payment from him and I got all the parts in here before he even dropped it off.
Nice.
So when he comes here, I can just pull the engine out and send it out.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to have the car here for 2 weeks when I'm waiting for parts. It doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, that's
so that
great.
adds
that's
on
great.
to the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then now the JRP studs are not available.
Exactly. JRP studs are never available.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, you know about
I've been
that.
trying to. Yeah, I don't know. I think I have to like go to ARP and like have a talk with them. Like literally, we have like 20 sets of head studs and main studs on order. It's like, what the hell, man? Just make them. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
People have Evos. People want to make power.
And he blows up pretty often. This is what, V10?
Yeah, this is a 5.2 liter Huracan block.
5.2 liter.
So
what are you doing with this?
This one, due to detonation damage, the piston got melted, right? The piston got damaged and kind of like broke off a chunk. And it basically ate up the cylinder.
Was this modified? This
no,
car?
This was a stock car.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
So what you need to do with something like this is an aluminum block, obviously, but it doesn't have steel inserts like the 4B11 does or like most other aluminum blocks. So this has an alu seal bore, meaning that this is actually a coating that's applied with electricity, and it protrudes about 10 to 20 thousandths. Okay. Once that's done, and that's past 20 thousandths, you really can't do anything. You can't just sleeve. Well, you can sleeve it, but the problem becomes that these are Siamese sleeves. They're like connected to each other. So you can't just sleeve one. So this guy has to get full custom sleeves on all of them. Right. And so that's what we're waiting on. We're just waiting to get the funds from him. The job's already gonna happen. We're just waiting for the guy to basically give the down so we can get the sleeves going. He's gonna get custom pistons. He's gonna get off-shelf CP Carrillo rods because they make it for the 5.2 liters. Then just Lamborghini OEM bearings, gasket set, and everything. When this happened, it did damage the combustion chamber on the head a little bit, but it's nothing that can't be fixed. Possibly some new valves, and but the engine's gonna be good for a lot of power. And he didn't want that from the beginning. He just wanted to go back to stock, and we kind of told him, look, and these are Siamese boards. You can't really fix one cylinder.
Yeah, you gotta go all out.
Yeah, he has to. So
is this, even though that's not what he wants, how much power could you make with a sleeved Lambo block like this?
I don't know, maybe 1500, I guess.
That's
I don't know.
crazy.
Because it's going to be a sleeved box. So the sleeve, the rods and pistons aren't really the issue when it comes to making power with these blocks. It's the sleeves that are weak, you know, especially because it's not. There's no like steel insert. So this would, I mean, I think up there, 1500 probably.
But he's just gonna keep it NA street driver.
I mean, at this point, maybe I can talk some sense into the guy, I mean,
I don't know any numbers, but I'm assuming he's spending a lot of money rebuilding it.
Well, the car's gonna come here and we're gonna put everything back together. So I'm gonna have a talk with him and be like, "Hey, man, let's slap some turbos." This and the Audi R8 are the same exact block.
That's right.
Same exact block. The heads are exactly the same. Everything's the same. Yeah. In fact, when I was working on the Huracan stuff and the R8, we had a turbo kit, and it literally fit both the R8 and the Huracan because it was exactly the same.
Wow.
The
Same
R8,
ECU?
huh?
Same ECU?
Same, exactly the same thing.
Wow.
Everything is the same, besides the bumper and stuff. It literally took an hour more to take the Audi bumper off. They just had to make it complicated.
Huh.
You know? Yeah. And then like we had carbon fiber air boxes that would go on, like slide onto the stock inlets.
Yeah.
The Audi ones, you would have to modify. It would take like 2-3 hours to modify those.
Yeah.
The Lamborghini ones just like popped on.
Yeah.
So it was much easier to work on the Lambo.
Yeah. Are you walking now?
Yeah.
That's gonna do outro video.
These guys are walking. Alright guys, and that is it for today. Ronnie here dropped so much knowledge on 4063 GTRs and even the Huracan. So yeah, I'm super excited for the success of this shop. I hope all the information was helpful, informative. If you had any questions, please post it in the comment section below. And of course, you can hit them up directly if you have any specific questions. If you're in LA area and you need your Evo GTRs tuned, modified, or you want to make 1000 horsepower, hit up these guys. They're experts. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the footage. See you in the next video. Peace.
Peace. Awesome.